If they haven't already, the Supreme Court will probably strike the ruling down. They had this ruling. We've already ruled that in America, even though that's mad disrespectful, you can burn the American flag because we have the freedom of speech, we have the freedom of religion, we have the freedom to peacefully protest. But someone burned an Israeli flag and they criminalized it, said it was hate speech, as if that even matters. You know, they can't tell you what you can hate or what you can love. It's free speech or it's not free speech. The gas light just come on. I don't know how. I thought I had more gas in that. I guess I did drive a good bit. That's already Wednesday. But I just want to say, you know, this is a recent thing, you know, really, that this six-pointed, six-triangle, six-sided hexagon, this 666 symbol, do they call the Star of David? David never used that. That's the Star of Raphael. That represents they got a hexagon on Saturn. That comes from the worship of Saturn or Cronus or Baal or Moloch, or has absolutely nothing to do. The real Israelites, not these bastards that don't trace their lineage to their father like all the Israelites always did. They were patriarchal people. You can look at it yourself in the Bible. They'll say, you know, Adam had a son whose name was Seth, and Seth had a son whose name was, I don't remember, maybe Enosh. No, Lamech. They always trace father to son. But these fake Jews, they started tracing by the mother. But the traditional symbol of the real Israelites was the menorah, not the Star of David. They put the menorah on all their coins. This six-sided, six-pointed, six triangles, six-sided hexagon, six-pointed star, has absolutely nothing to do with Israel. Now, it had come about after they come out of Babylon. The Pharisees and other people, they used that symbol. They got that symbol from Babylon, and Stephen pointed that out, and he was stoned for it. He said, you took up the star of your God, Raphael. And in Amos it's talked about. And in Acts it's talked about. But anyway, burning the Israeli flag shouldn't have been ruled as some sort of hate crime against the Jewish people, because the real symbol of the Jewish people is the menorah. And anyway, it's really crazy that you can burn an American flag but not an Israeli flag. It's really crazy that you can criticize the American government and not get in as much trouble as if you criticize the Israeli government, even though they're starving children to death, even though they're shooting children. Today we put up a 12-foot sectional garage door, and we had some pretty big springs, 2 of them. Each of them had to have 48 winds, and there's a lot of tension. Once you wind them springs, it's 48 quarter rotations. So, it's really 12 full rotations. But once you put all that tension on them springs, them torsion bars and them springs together might as well be like a big old rat trap for humans. You always make sure to keep your head out of the way of that. Because if you was to ever make the mistake of having your head in front of them tension rods, and your hands was to get weak or sweaty or slip or however it happened, if you ever let go with all the force that's behind them springs on them tension rods. If it hits you in the head, you're dead. That's the end of it. We went, and there's this man from New Jersey. He moved to Georgia for the same reason a lot of Yankees moved down here, cheaper taxes. And it's just, he talks about the people being friendlier and him liking the people. Same reason B come from New York. He likes the people down here. They're more polite, less rude. Anybody from up north that wants to come to the south, please don't bring your ways down here. Please don't vote to make this state like the state you fled from. And if you'll do that, you're welcome here. But we don't need y'all coming down here because y'all like this place because it's nicer than where you come from, and then trying to bring your degenerate liberal values. Don't bring that down here. Anyway, this man from New Jersey, he was saying that he was on a job site where someone was winding them springs and they let go or whatever, and they had their head in front of it. It hit them in the head and killed them. There's blood everywhere. So that's why I'm saying, don't ever keep your head, make sure your head's out of the way. Imagine if you was to let go of that torsion rod. Imagine the path of it and make sure you back up with your ladder and you're not in the way of that. Now, there's a lot of spring back on it, and you get on top of a 12-foot ladder, it starts to wobble. You might want to have somebody holding your ladder. But I wound the first one 48 turns, and then Hunter put 25 on the other, and I wound it the rest of the way. And before I done that, the last 2 days, I run a chainsaw, so I'm tired of it. I'm tired. It's pretty hot in this truck. It won't be too long though. Winter will be here again. But hey, excellent. I would stop. I need to stop and get gas, but I'm gonna try to just see if I can get to Friendly Gus. It's a lot easier to get in that parking lot there than McCord's. But if that's Jackson back in the comment, hello. He said, hey, back to you. This job, I thought we would be done with it earlier, but there's a lot of hiccups, a lot of stuff happened. We had the wrong springs, so we had to go back and get them. The other day, we got sent on a service call, and they pour in concrete while we go over there. And they stop us from what we're doing to talk to us about it, but had they not stopped us, we'd already be finished sooner and out their way. I gotta get a shower real bad, get my teeth brushed. There's a difference between 48 winds on the ground and 48 winds 12 foot up. And there's a difference with 48 winds and 48 winds after running the chainsaw. Some weeks, the job's easy, but sometimes your muscles just don't have time to rest and repair. Day after day, it's kind of rough sometimes. My shoulders are tired from crawling around under that house and running the chainsaw and putting all them winds on them springs. But I'm glad of it, It's hard on the body, but it makes me stronger. And there's a feeling of accomplishment. And there's a satisfaction of knowing that even when I'm tired and sore, I can still keep on going. And there's a big satisfaction knowing that I earned what I got. I didn't take it from nobody else. Even if we stayed later, we wouldn't have been able to completely finish off this job because we're gonna have to build some more framing to mount the motors. And the people that run the wire for us, I guess they thought the wall button goes on the outside, but it goes on the inside, so we're gonna have to run wire, and it's just sometimes you can't finish the whole job in a day. It's nice. I like to, it's nice to, but sometimes it's just you ain't gonna get it done in a day. Amar is rated as like the top door company. And them being rated the top door company seems to have hurt them. They seem to be slacking now. Sometimes they're pre-drill marks. They're not straight like this. They're offset like this and over to the right. Sometimes when they cut the panel, there's a little bit of a difference in size between one panel and another. Sometimes their insulation sticking out the side. Like they're making mistakes they didn't used to make. And they've always made some mistakes here and there, but they'll send you a hardware box and not send you as many drillers as it takes to finish the job, or they send you the wrong color trim or the wrong size bar. So if anybody wants to start a company making garage doors, your competition ain't what it used to be. They done got too comfortable being at the top. They slacking off. And if anybody's listening to me from Amar, I ain't worried about any kind of lawsuit because we got plenty of evidence, plenty of photographs of y'all sending this stuff in all messed up. Y'all need to tighten up and do better, Amar. And I just, I know they at the top of the list, Amar and what's the other one, Asda or something like that. But y'all gonna mess up and y'all ain't gonna be on the top of the list no more. And them other garage door companies, they're doing even worse. I mean, dang. So it's like, I don't know, if somebody's got the capital or the means to get into the business of making garage doors, now's the time to do it. If you'll just keep it consistent. Like, build everyone right, You'll be at the top of the list in no time. I've always been pretty much loyal to the companies I work for. Like, when I worked for Angel Rodriguez, like Allegra, Nunez, I don't remember the names of all the companies, but they would constantly see how hard I worked, and they would offer me jobs paying more, and I would stay there. Same thing with J&K. When I worked at J&K, I had several offers to go make more money elsewhere, and I just stayed there. If I like the people that I work with, I probably shouldn't be this way, but I'm okay with having less money if I like the work environment and the people. And that's the case with All-Pro. I really like the people. When we was out on the job site, some other company saw us and they offered to pay us $7 more an hour to come work for them. And I'm not going to do it. I like the people I work with. But it's probably not smart that I don't, But also, you never know what you're getting into. You get figuring out your job and how to do it. You start getting really good at it. I don't really feel like starting all the way over.
I think that car was really nice and shiny. So I'm supposed to see more than I should probably on this. That's good enough. So I made it here without running out of gas. That's good. I lost my billfold, and I think I might have locked my car.